This is a generation where everything is available at a click of a mouse. It is no longer necessary to visit the library for information, nor do people have to go to a store to buy anything. And actually going to the bank to have access to funds has become a thing of the past. All of these conveniences revolve around the internet and have made life much easier for the average person. Every advancement brings us one step closer to becoming completely dependent on technology. In 2009, Bitcoin was launched under a person known as Satoshi Nakamoto, and it is the world's first online currency. Unlike other forms of money, Bitcoin has no monetary authority, and this makes it favorable by many. While this achievement is new and exciting, it raises some concerns among everyday people and higher authorities on what Bitcoin could potentially be used for. Bitcoin can be better understood by actually learning how it works, what Bitcoin is used for, and if there are any implications for Bitcoin. There are many ways to make money. You can earn it, find it, counterfeit it, or if you're Satoshi Nakamoto, you can invent it. As the world's first decentralized digital currency, each individual Bitcoin is worth a dollar amount, and according to The Economist, Bitcoin has reached record highs of above $250 each. Bitcoin has no physical component to it. It's just thousands of lines of code on the internet. $250 is a lot of money to thousands of people and to the many people who already use Bitcoin. It could be more than tempting for someone to hack the system and try to obtain the Bitcoins. But the New York Times claims that the system is so secure that the only way to get more Bitcoins would be if there was an accidental exchange amongst the users, and no Bitcoin can be forged. This is a huge difference from the numerous banks that most people already bank with. With Bitcoin, there is no chance of someone getting a hold of your account information or personal information. Bitcoin was created to be more secure. Satoshi Nakamoto is obviously a fake name, and the person behind it all is still a mystery. The New Yorker claims that everything Nakamoto did was untraceable. He was involved with the website until 2011, when he sent a note to another developer saying that he had moved on to other things and hasn't been heard of since. After Nakamoto's disappearance, the New Yorker also claims that hackers targeted Bitcoin but were unable to crack Nakamoto's code, proving how secure the system really is. Again, since Bitcoin has no monetary authority, it is reviewed by a peer-to-peer computer network that uses BitTorrent, which is a file sharing system. At $250 each, Bitcoin is becoming more attractive to a variety of users, but obtaining Bitcoins is a process called Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin mining is basically difficult number tasks presented by the network, and the network has structured it in a way where it becomes increasingly difficult to mine the Bitcoins. Time magazine describes Bitcoin as a Napster of money and states that because of the value of each individual Bitcoin, the 11 million Bitcoins that are currently circulating the web have a value of well over $2 billion. Bitcoins are anonymous and don't have to deal with transaction fees, nor does the Bitcoin system have to deal with regulations in the countries that it is being used in. The Economist claims that a man named Tony Gallipi founded BitPay, which is a firm that goes through Bitcoin payments for different merchants. The intentions of Bitcoin when it was first created by Nakamoto was to be free of government control. But with no control, Bitcoin can be easily spread around and used in marketplaces like the Silk Road. Because it's anonymous, some drug dealers only accept Bitcoins as payments for their various transactions. This is probably the main reason why Bitcoin took off the way that it did. The New York Times states that illegal drugs and narcotics are bought by Bitcoins, and in return people can buy Bitcoins and sell Bitcoins for cold, hard cash. So even if Bitcoin is never approved by any form of government, there is definitely a dollar amount to Bitcoin, which is why each coin is becoming increasingly valuable. The New Yorker suggests that Bitcoin has the possibility of making not only the users rich, but the whole economy as a whole rich, with the system's continued mining, spending, and exchange for actual money. The biggest investors in the Bitcoin system were the Winklevoss brothers, who are the wealthy twins that had successfully sued for a share of Facebook and were portrayed in the movie The Social Network. They say, and I quote, "We have elected to put our money and faith in a mathematical framework that is free of politics and human error." The New York Times claims that the Winklevoss brothers aren't the only ones thinking along the same lines. Many people believe that governments are abusing their power to print money and or their position of power with the banking systems. Bitcoin has become one of the fastest growing and hottest investments in the world, but the idea of perfect money might have been a good one in the beginning. But the current ways that Bitcoin is being used has caught the attention of a number of institutions. Time magazine states that because of Bitcoin's privacy, the European Central Bank expressed serious concerns regarding the legal status and security of the system, as well as the finality and irrevocability of the transactions. Time magazine also states that the U.S. Treasury Department took notice of Bitcoin and expressed the parts of the virtual currencies it did and did not aspire to regulate. Bitcoin is also linked to the financial crisis in Cyprus. It is being spread around that because of Bitcoin's value, Spanish users alone were buying Bitcoins instead of euros. With so many economies in recession, the use of Bitcoin could potentially send some countries over the edge. Because now this virtual money is gaining more speed than the average American dollar or the euro. If there is a way to have Bitcoin legalized and have it work with small businesses and the everyday market, it could tremendously help. But Bitcoin is currently beneficial for marketplaces like the Silk Road, and it could potentially be devastating to countries like Cyprus. Bitcoin reminds us of how much trust we put into the banking system and what the banks demand of us just so we can use the money that's already in our pockets.